Don't miss Clownfish Studios' latest crowdfunder, Crimson Wren Volume 1 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Thaddeus Wendell's greatest treasure is out there, and it's up to young mage Crimson Wren and the crew of a rundown airship called the True North to find it. But will they find it in time? Crimson Wren of the True North is a race against the clock filled with action, adventure, comedy, and heart. This is a brand new manga-style graphic novel from Clownfish Studios. Go to crimsonwren.com or check it out on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It ends on November 18th. That's November 18th. And now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another Twitter video because the good times just keep on coming. Actually, not good times. Not a good time if you're a Twitter employee because beginning, I believe, next week, you're going to have to start paying for your own lunch.
Oh, the humanity!
Oh my God, Twitter employees are gonna have to start paying for their own lunch.
I bet that wine bar is gone too.
Oh my God, what are they gonna do? They're gonna starve. They're gonna starve, and we've got people on Twitter defending Twitter employees getting free lunch. Meanwhile, we have people working jobs at other places that are lucky if they can afford groceries that week. But hey,
they have to pay for their lunch.
But they have to pay for their own lunch. My God, you might need to brown bag it at Twitter. So we're gonna talk about this ridiculous development.
What I want to know is for the lunch, what kind of knowing how everything else is set up, it's probably something like we have a Michelin star chef that comes in and cooks us lunch or something like that, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, well now
I can't have caviar this week.
Now Gordon Ramsay's basically running the place, so shit's gonna get real. So we're gonna talk about this. God, reality is just hitting these people upside the head so hard.
Like where everybody else lives.
Yeah, right? Welcome to the real world. All right, so before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 281,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We do talk a lot about Twitter because Twitter sucks. I am personally glad that Elon Musk bought it, and I am hoping that he either reforms it or the thing burns to the ground because it's one of the worst things that humanity has ever invented.
No, I think it's the worst thing. So
It's pretty awful. It's right up there, right? Lots of cancel culture, lots of
you can track
drama.
back most of the cancel culture and pop culture drama and bullshit and political drama and bullshit back to Twitter.
Corrupt journalists run amok on Twitter, whisper networks, all this crazy
questionable
stuff.
elections. Oh, did I say that out loud? All back to Twitter.
You're not allowed to say that.
Well, if
I
I say that, it automatically makes me Republican, even though I'm not.
I guess, right?
That's what's funny because a rational person looking at it couldn't make that decision based on facts. You have to be an alt-right Yahtzee.
Social media fears starvation as Elon Musk dares to make Twitter employees pay for their own lunch. So Elon Musk, and you said on Twitter, at least they still have a job. Yeah. He came in, fired half of Twitter, and that's just the start, guys. Then he demanded that people, oh my God, get this, they have to show up at the office to work. And now, the horror, they have to buy their own lunch. They have to buy their own lunch. And this is a company that's It's hemorrhaging $4 million a day. And no more free lunches at Twitter. Billionaire Elon Musk's tumultuous first few weeks at Twitter have been a shock and awe experience to the tech giant's pampered and privileged employees.
Oh my God, this is a business brag?
Yes, whose lives of luxury have suddenly been upended after the new boss made sweeping changes at the tech giant's San Francisco headquarters. Soon to be a homeless shelter.
We don't know that.
Oh, I can almost guarantee.
I don't know why they're hemorrhaging so much money, before he bought it.
All right, the Tesla SpaceX CEO showed that he meant business when soon after the $44 billion deal to buy the tech giant closed, he fired the top brass, including the CEO and the chief censor, Vijaya Gadde, before deeply slashing the company's staff, a move that drew shrieks of rage.
Sheiks, I like sheiks better. Sheiks of rage.
Sheiks of rage. That sounds kind of...
A game?
Yeah, it does.
Shrieks of Rage.
That sounds like an 80s game.
It does.
Yeah. Shrieks of rage from left-wing media, which has been in a tizzy since the unthinkable happened and Musk walked into Twitter headquarters carrying a sink, tweeting, "Let that sink in."
I still can't believe he just walked into Twitter headquarters with a sink.
It's funny because I did the video yesterday, and one of the managers literally threw up when he was told he had to manage.
I heard when he had to fire people.
He had to fire people.
I'm like, well, that's part of the job. I mean, I get it. You don't want to fire. I understand that.
I don't like to fire people, but again, this is why you're paid the big bucks. It's why you got to earn that free lunch here, buddy.
Obviously, they got to keep their job. You don't want to fire people. You could have just quit.
You could have just quit. Good luck. One of those media outlets, New York Times, has chronicled the weeks of horror under Musk's tenure as chief twit, including his added tormenting of remaining employees who will now be made to pay for their own food and drinks. On Monday, some Twitter employees arrived at work to find that certain systems they had relied on no longer worked. On San Francisco, an engineer discovered some contracts with vendors that provide software for managing user data had been put on hold or expired. Some people laid off or resigned. On Wednesday, workers in Twitter's New York office were unable to use the Wi-Fi after a server room overheated and knocked it offline.
Well, these sound like just basic things that happen at businesses.
Yep. After that, two people said, according to the outlet, Mr. Musk plans to begin making employees pay for lunch, which had been free at the company cafeteria.
Wait, let me get this right. They put the same sentence as they were unable to use their Wi-Fi because the server room overheated, which is not, that happens, with, oh my God, and to add to the horror, they have to pay for their lunch. Now, you've been in companies where, like, they forgot to pay for software stuff, or they let things lapse and you had to go get it fixed.
Yes.
That happens at companies.
And sometimes it's an oversight. Sometimes it's like, oh, hey, we forgot to update the company credit card, or we had a contract with this. In one case,
it was like an automatic thing, and when they switched everything over, it just didn't get automated.
Right, and that happens, right? But they're trying to make it out like, oh my God, the company's burning down, which it is in some ways, but no longer getting for. Okay, so let me tell you about one company I worked at. I remember the shock and horror that we had when we used to get free coffee, and then we didn't because we missed the revenue goals for the year. And they're like, we got to cut corners everywhere we can. Rather than lay people off, we're gonna cut back on the coffee because we had a room full of Russian programmers that drank a lot of coffee. I mean, they were
probably up all the time too.
They were there like, yes. Oh my God. Imagine that. There were some of them, I think, that slept there.
You heard of Russian bots? They all worked at your company.
All the Russian. Yeah. And weirdly, we dealt with almost exclusively with government information. And we had a room full of Russian programmers working on Visa. And my God, those guys drank a lot of coffee.
I'm not saying something coming from you.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee. They drank way more coffee than I did. And so, yeah, my boss was like, hey, guys, I hate to be that guy, but the free coffee ends. We never got free lunch. It used to be something if the boss would take you out to dinner or something. That was like a thing. The one company I worked at, we had a really nice cafeteria. And guess what? You got food at a discount, but
you had to pay for it.
You still had to pay for it. I mean, what the hell? Then, of course, this video day at TikTok.
Oh, yeah, that was glorious. You haven't seen that. Go watch that.
Oh, my God. Twitter users reacted to the terrible news that Musk is now going to starve the remaining employees by making them do what the vast majority of working people already have to by ending the free lunches, which, according to the video,
I was joking.
Restaurant quality.
I was joking.
He fired 3/4 of the employees. Now he's playing to starve the rest of them. He's failure incarnate, tweeted one whiner whose bio proclaimed.
What's that have to do with anything, though?
He's going to starve them all.
I don't understand what that little, adding that has anything to do with anything. It has nothing to do with it.
The Twitter user, whose handle is Amoni Resists, jousted with those who are less sympathetic to the poor put upon. This has to be a troll account. This cannot be real. Nobody can be that tone deaf. The poor put upon employees. For the I bring my own lunch crowd, that's a shame but not relevant. Twitter was a company that provided lunch for its employees for free for 10 years, now has abruptly stopped because its CEO is a cheap pile of garbage.
There's a lot of companies who used to give their employees things like, Christmas bonuses, and they stopped because, they didn't have the money.
This can't be a real person. This can't be a real person. Because then putting that in the bio too, this is obviously a troll account. They should bring their own lunch. That's how businesses are conducted. No, they shouldn't. And no, they aren't. If your company provides free lunches for employees for 10 years, it shouldn't suddenly stop because a new cheap piece of shit who hates people and is a terrible human just took over.
I hope it's parody. Or this person needs to go seek help.
I pay for my own lunch every day. What the fuck? That's a shame. Still not the same as your company providing you free lunch for 10 years and taking them away.
okay, if it's not a parody account,
It's a Twitter employee.
It's a Twitter employee who's pissed they aren't getting lunch.
Tell me more about this starving. Oh, God. Either they bring their own lunch or zip out to Del Taco or Panda Express, just like every other worker in America. They're going to have a lot more options because I think they have better tacos in Texas where they're probably going to get shipped to.
Well, look at here. Twitter pays an average salary of $146,546 per year. Now, granted, where it's located is expensive to live.
It is expensive.
Which is $70.45 an hour. Twitter pays the bottom 10% $106,000 a year and the top 10% over $201,000 a year. How will these people ever survive without the free lunch?
God. Oh, my God. Starve. Been a rough adjustment. Yeah, this is insane. This cannot be a real person.
That's what else. This is a parody. It has to be.
I can't tell.
Oh, Elon Musk is like, I can't tell. It has to be a parody.
How will these people eat if their lunches aren't free? Pay for it themselves. This is my profile. I'll need parody next to Elon. I still want the blue tick. You're basically running a sweatshop, Elon. No one ever feeds me lunch. God, it's not Elon Musk's job to feed his employees. Can you sink that in?
It might not be a parody, but it's definitely unserious. It has to be. But they're getting so pissed about it.
God, it's got to be somebody that works there, and he'll find out who you are, and you'll get fired too. Why would lunch be free at Twitter? It's not even free at the White House, Senate, State Department, U.S. Army base. You don't even get free lunch in a socialist country at work. Where's the New York Times going with this?
That's a good question.
They're actually doing Twitter employees a huge disservice. They're trying to be sympathetic because basically the New York Times is pissed off that they can't have Twitter locked down like they did.
So they're trying to sow as much discord as they can.
It's like not only is he spreading misinformation, but they're not giving these poor Twitter employees their free lunch.
Then you got this guy. Why are you comparing a government job to a job in the tech industry? You realize there's no comparison there, right?
So Benny Mather, the job I was speaking of in which they took the coffee was both. It was both during much better financial times, I might add. Yes, I worked for a software company that developed software
run by somebody who's
run by a senator. Yes, we developed software for the government. We worked mostly with military clientele. Couldn't really talk about a lot of what we did over there, but let's just say that it was a little bit of both. And you know what? When things got tight, they cut the coffee. And that was before 2008. Okay, just saying. Holy shit.
How will they eat if it's not free? I don't get it.
Oh God. Yeah. So this is they're not doing them any favors. This is ridiculous. I think he's gonna wind up just moving the damn thing to Texas. Just the stuff that they're complaining about. It's like they're basically running Twitter, or he's going to run Twitter like every other effing company, and people can't stand it.
Well, it's because they've been pampered little babies for years. They have all this, time off for mental health time and everything else.
Bring your dog to work.
It's like, how many people would love time for mental health, and people have legitimate mental health issues, and they're not allowed to have that time off. And
I don't have very much free time, which is why I'm fucking nuts.
Well, I'm like, see, even moms, they have babies and they have to go back to work after a few weeks. They don't they don't get time off, mental health time off, a wine room. Man, I wanted a wine room, and I don't like wine, but like an alcohol room.
Oh, like a WHINE.
Oh, wine
they probably
room,
do.
Yeah.
They probably have like a group hug, safe space.
Well, they had these rooms
box.
that were like, they were like little boxes. They were supposed to be so you could have Zoom calls, but they go in there and cry. I mean, look, I don't want people to lose their jobs, but let me rephrase that. I don't want people who actually try and work hard to lose their jobs.
And neither does Elon Musk. He's basically said, if you work and you attempt to work and you follow the rules, and I own the company now, so you're going to have to follow the rules, and you do your job and you do what I'm paying you to do, we're not going to have a problem.
But you don't get restaurant quality free lunches in a wine room.
They are bleeding out $4 million a day. They're talking about possibly filing for bankruptcy next year.
That's true.
I think he's doing it just to crack the whip personally, but put the fear of God in him.
Because why would you spend that much money and then file for bankruptcy? It makes no sense.
Well, because you can reorganize the company better. It buys you time.
That's true.
People are stupid. They think bankruptcy means like, oh my God, they just went out of business. No, there's a difference. File for bankruptcy. It buys you
You're
time.
at chapter 11 where you can do restructuring. Yes.
You restructure things. You don't have to pay your debts right
Like
away.
Toys R Us.
Pretty much. And then you can fire everybody and come back as a leaner, meaner company.
Then you don't get in trouble for it.
Yeah, that's basically it. There are advantages to doing that. So he probably knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting into. He had to have. And he's like, how am I going to get this company as cheap as possible? And how am I going to get it down to a place where it's profitable? And it's going to require basically disemboweling the whole thing because it's fundamentally broken.
So do you feel better now that you got to talk about Elon today?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I don't want to hear anything about Henry Cavill.
I'm not talking about Henry.
No, but when I do, or Charlie Cox,
you can,
because you talk about Elon more than I actually talk about them.
Okay. Well, if Henry was out there, cracking the whip a little harder, we'd do more videos about him.
He quit.
He did. I will give him that. I'm like, man, I got a crush on you because you quit The Witcher. Because apparently there were.
I don't know how they can look at him that cost another crush on him, male or female.
Yeah, I don't know, right? No, they said that there were problems in season 2 because he was fighting with the writers and he almost walked after season 2. They talked him into another season, and then we know that the X-Men showrunner was like, yeah, I worked on The Witcher and it was a shit show.
He didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing.
So yeah, you can talk about Henry Cavill. He's in my good graces now. All right, he was before. Actually, I thought he was okay.
No, I'm just teasing you because you like to talk about Elon an awful lot. Anyway,
I just admire his get it done attitude because this is how it used to be, guys. Like I don't know we need more of this, especially in Silicon Valley, especially in the media, because nothing gets done because everybody's taking a latte break. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
bye.